Yes, hi, my name is Jan van der Krabben. I'm the Live Operations Manager on Total War Arena, the latest free-to-play online multiplayer game by the Creative Assembly.
Okay, every year at Tigromir we see something new at Total War series. What is Arena?
So Arena is an online, team-based, real-time strategy game. It's free-to-play, which is a new thing for us at Creative Assembly, and it's entirely focused on multiplayer. So there is no campaign, no single player mode. It's purely multiplayer battles, 10 versus 10. Essentially team-based battle action.
So, what is it about gameplay?
Right, so basically the game is set in classical antiquity, which means that at the moment you can play as either the Romans, the Greeks, or we've just introduced the barbarians, which is kind of northern Germanic Celtic barbarians. And you choose a commander, which is taken from history, give him 3 units that you can unlock and upgrade, and take him into battle. Everything is handled through matchmaking, so we look at what units you have, what commander you have, and how strong these are, and then we will matchmake you with 10 other players to go in one team, 9 other players to go into one team, and 10 other players as your enemy team. And then the goal is to use your 3 units together with the 3 units of all the other 9 players to defeat the other 10 players or to conquer their base. Matches last no longer than 15 minutes. Usually they are over after on average about 12 minutes, but if the time runs out, the team that has more points wins. Otherwise, you either defeat all the enemy units or you capture the base.
So, does the game has any strategic elements, or is this just pure action game?
No, it's definitely a strategy game. So I guess when you ask strategic, you're asking about grand strategy and empire building. No, it doesn't have that. The strategy in this game is very much about playing together as a team. You need to coordinate with your teammates. How are you going to defeat the enemies? Who goes where? Who defends? Who attacks? Who does the flank? Etc. So essentially, there's the strategic team play between players, and then there's the tactical gameplay right close around your units, where you move your units, you flank, etc., which has become much more important in Total War Arena than in any other previous Total War game. So the position of your unit, whether it's on a hill, whether it's flanking, has a far stronger impact on how your unit does in battle. And also it's very much about skill and timing. Units in Total War Arena react a lot more quickly to your orders than ever before. The precision with which you can control them is very high, and basically they don't do anything on their own. You control every single action and they do it instantly. So if you want them to charge, you press the charge button, you need to time it right, and when you have a good charge, you get a very strong, impactful charge that does a lot of damage. You can see the damage, it's very clearly represented to you. So in that sense, the game has become a lot more second-to-second gameplay, more skill, and yes, more action, but it's still very clearly a strategy game.
There is a PC as main platform, but why not to choose maybe some Android, iOS devices?
Well, I mean,
like phablets and tablets.
Yes, sure. The gameplay that we have works extremely well with mouse and keyboard, simply because it is quite complex. There is a lot of very quick reaction involved that you need to do. So tablets, maybe they could work, but it would mean that we would have to change the game quite a bit. It wouldn't be the same game, I think. So at the moment, we're really focusing on making the game that we are making it as well as we can before we would even contemplate porting it to any other platform. In general, our development is very much focused on taking what we have and perfecting it before adding more things into it. So players might ask us for additional game modes, which yes, we want to do, but first we want to get this game mode right. And additionally, on tablet we have another game, Total War Battles Kingdom, which I can't talk too much about because I'm not working on it, but that is a game that's optimized for tablets. And we at Creative Assembly recognize that each platform is good for certain types of games, but you can't just take a game and chuck it onto another platform and hope it works.
Is it free-to-play game?
Yes, it is free to play. And
what about donation?
Sorry?
What about donations?
The monetization? Yes. So because it's a strategy game, we recognize that pay to win isn't going to work. We don't want to make a pay to win game, and if we did, we think it would fail because strategy and pay to win just don't go together. So what we did is when we first introduced this game, we posted our monetization strategy on our game forums and asked for feedback from the community. What do they think of these monetization ideas? We got lots of feedback, generally positive. A lot of people were saying they would like to see more customization options. So we're like, yeah, sure, we'll add that. So essentially, we can divide the monetization into 3 different categories. The first category is you can pay money to progress faster. So if you've got very little time, but money, that's for you. It doesn't impact the actual battles. It's only that between the battles, you can unlock new units more quickly and therefore progress to higher levels of gameplay. In some instances, it can actually be a disadvantage because if you progress faster, you have less experience than somebody else, and maybe, therefore, you'll have a harder time. Secondly, we have customization options. So that means we have colors which you can buy that you can paint your units with. We don't have many at the moment, but we're going to add a lot more. And also there will be custom, consumable items, which essentially is like a helmet that looks different. Sorry, not consumable, cosmetic items, like a helmet that looks different, a bit cooler, or a shield with a specific pattern on it. We just introduced that to reward some of our players that have been with us in the alpha for a long time. So we gave them some of these items, but we will add additional items in the future, which will be purchasable for real money. And lastly, we have premium units. So these are units that are only accessible with gold, which is our premium currency. But these units are in no way stronger than the free-to-play units, but instead these units are either more specialized or they give you access to something that otherwise you wouldn't have access to. A good example here is the Romans. Historically, the Romans were very heavy infantry based. They didn't really have cavalry or archers, and to fill that gap, they hired auxiliary troops to have cavalry and archers in their army. So we took this idea and said all the free-to-play Roman units are very Roman. But if you want more archers and more cavalry, you would then buy that and have archers and cavalry with your Roman squad. Or you could just team up with a Greek or barbarian player who have archers and cavalry, and then as teamwork you play together and you achieve the same result, maybe even a better one, but it's your choice. Either you pay for it or you work with somebody else.
What about maps? How many maps you have on the start, and maybe other maps are just decorations, or maybe it directly influence on gameplay.
So the maps, we currently have 5 maps. When we entered into closed beta last week, we introduced the Barbarians as a playable faction and a new map, the Rubicon map, based on the Caesar's crossing of the Rubicon. And each map, yes, has a very distinct influence on how you play the game. So for example, the Rubicon map is a very open map. We never had a very open map before, so that means that you really have to watch your flanks. You have to be very careful and really understand what's going on. There's a lot of spatial awareness required to play this map well. On the contrary, for example, the Thermopylae map, based on the pass of Thermopylae, has very clear routes, right? And so you know where the enemy is going to come from. You can prepare for it. It's a lot easier to understand. Or for example, we have a map that's called Solernum, which is half city and half kind of field and forest. In the city, the routes are very clear. You know where the enemies are going to come from, and you're protected from artillery fire. Whereas in the forest and the fields, it's very open, and you really have to watch in all directions. So each map really has its own play style, and how you do your strategy really depends on what map you're playing on. And we intend to have a lot more maps in the future, obviously. These 5 maps are just the starting point.
Okay, and at the end of the interview, maybe some words to the community.
Yes.
You can represent yourself again and say some words. Maybe to choose Total War and Turkey.
Right.
Play Total War, cool. Something like that.
Right. Hi. Yes, I'm Jan from the Arena team, and we would obviously let me do that again. Hi, I'm Jan from the Arena team. No. Hi, I'm Jan from the Total War Arena team, and I would like to invite all the Russian players to try out Total War Arena, our latest free-to-play online RTS game. Russia is in fact our #1 country in this game, so there's a large community of players who you can play with and communicate with. And we're in closed beta. Now's the time when you can really make a difference how this game is going to be. You can shape the game with us, the developers, and essentially get on board before everybody else does. So give it a try. Go to playarena.totalwar.com, sign up, and you will receive a Steam key to play the game for free.